Harrison è nato a Leeds, nello Yorkshire. È una città industriale che è lontana dalle capitali culturali e dove si vive in un altro modo e dove si parla anche un'altra lingua, non si parla l'inglese standard che si sente alla radio, no? Ma si parla con questo forte accento Yorkshire che lui qualche volta tira fuori quando legge alcune delle sue parti. Un accento operaistico, poi la sua era una famiglia operaia, suo padre era un fornaio, producevano pane, e questa metafora del pane e del fuoco è molto importante nella sua poesia, che spesso tratta sia di elementi familiari che di elementi invece universali. C'è molto il tema della deflagrazione, della guerra, della violenza, che lui sente molto, anche perché non è più nemmeno lui un giovanetto, per cui essendo nato nel 37, diciamolo, e per cui ha visto tutto quello che hanno visto quelli che come noi hanno vissuto, no, questo secolo che non modo, perché è una poesia molto impegnata, molto rozza in qualche modo, ma anche molto colta, molto contraddittoria. Lui è un uomo contraddittorio perché porta sulla sua pelle questa tensione fra la sua origine proletaria, diciamo quasi, no? E invece poi la sua vocazione agli studi, il suo interesse per i classici, che in qualche modo l'hanno separato da questo background. E allora ci sono una serie di poesie che si chiama The School of Eloquence, no? La scuola dell'eloquenza, e su cui poi magari diremo qualche cosa. Insomma, il tema è proprio sempre come si incomincia a parlare, come si impara a parlare, e il problema è proprio un problema di classe, no? di rapporti di classe, che lui fin da ragazzino, lui a scuola il suo insegnante gli diceva Tony, anzi lo diceva Anthony, perché era proibito dire Tony. Mr. Harrison, non si dice così, si dice, no? You were taught the real pronunciation, quella che in inglese chiamano RP, la received pronunciation, no? Cioè quello come si dice, no? E invece lui diceva no, ma io lo dico al modo mio, e i grandi poeti del passato, della mia regione, molti grandi poeti venivano dal nord, come Wordsworth per esempio, anche loro parlavano in realtà con un accento che non è quello artificioso della received pronunciation, e lui è un rappresentante di questo altro inglese, di queste altre Inghilterre, no? Ed è emerso.
Years ago I did my first work for the National Theatre in London, and it was a big success. And in the interval I heard a woman say, "He has such a command over language." But they say he comes from Sheffield. But it was Leeds. And so I wrote a poem for such women as that. And also it's a poem for my mother, who also said, "Where does it all come from? We have no artists in our family. Where does it come from?" Heredity. How you became a poet's a mystery. Wherever did you get your talent from? I say, I had two uncles, Joe and Harry. One was a stammerer, the other dumb. The uncle who stammered died in our house, and it was the house, one room in the house where I was allowed to do my homework. And so I was always aware that I was learning languages, Latin and Greek, and also becoming a poet in the room where my uncle with the stammer died. Study. Best clock, best carpet, best 3 chairs. For deaths, for Christmases, a houseless aunt, for those too old or sick to manage stairs. I try to whistle in it, but I can't. Uncle Joe came here to die, his gaping jaws once plugged into the power of his stammer, patterned for stuck closes without pause, like a Damascener's hammer. My auntie's baby, still, the dumbstruck mother, the mirror, tortoise shell-like celluloid, held to it, passed from one hand to another. No babble, blubber, breath, the glass won't cloud. The best clocks only wound for layings out, so the stillness isn't tap-tap by its ticks. The settee's shapeless underneath its shroud. My mind moves upon silence and Aeneid 6. And the next poem is about the English teacher who wouldn't let me read poetry in my own language, in my own accent. A certain class dubbed all the poetry before into Queen's English. Yorkshire has very short vowels. I used to say, us. They say, no, not us. 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 Them and us. Aye, aye. Aye, aye. Stutter Demosthenes, gob full of pebbles, out-shouting seas. 4 words only of me heart aches and mine's broken, you barbarian T.W. He was nicely spoken. Can't have our glorious heritage done to death. I played the drunken porter in Macbeth. Poetry's the speech of kings. You're one of those Shakespeare gives the comic bits to. Prose. All poetry, even Cockney Keats, you see's be dubbed by us into RP. Received pronunciation. Please believe us. Your speech is in the hands of the receivers. We say us, not us, T.W. That shut my trap. I doff my flat A's, as in flat cap, my mouth all stuffed with glottals, great lumps to hawk up and spit out. Enunciate! So right, you buggers then, we'll occupy your lousy leasehold poetry. I chewed up literature and spat the bones into the lap of dozing Daniel Jones, dropped the initials I'd been harried as, and used my name and own voice, us, ended sentences with by, with, from, and spoke the language that I spoke at home. R.I.P. R.P. R.I.P. T.W. I'm Tony Harrison, no longer you. You can tell the receivers where to go and not aspirate it. Once you know Wordsworth's matter, watter are full rhymes. Us can be loving as well as funny. My first mention in the Times automatically made Tony and Tony. So this is a poem realizing the divisions between myself becoming educated, learning ancient languages, becoming a poet, and my father. And it was written on the day my mother died. Bookends. Beg the day she suddenly dropped dead. We chew it slowly, that last apple pie. Shocked into sleeplessness, you're scared of bed. We never could talk much, and now don't try. You're like bookends, the pair of you, she'd say. Oh, that great, say nothing, sit, sleep, stare. The scholar, me. You, worn out on poor pay, only our silence made us seem a pair. Not as good for staring in blue gas, too regular each bud, each yellow spike. A night you need my company to pass, and she not here to tell us where the like. Your life's all shattered into smithereens. Back in our silences and sullen looks, for all the scotch we drink, what's still between's not the 30 or so years, but books, books, books. The next poem is my father refused to believe that my mother was dead. Long distance. Now, my mother was already 2 years dead. Dad kept her slippers warming by the gas, put hot water bottles her side of the bed, and still went to renew her transport pass. You couldn't just drop in, you had to phone. He'd put you off an hour to give him time to clear away her things and look alone, as though still raw love was such a crime. He couldn't risk my blight of disbelief, though sure that very soon he'd hear her key scrape in the rusted lock and end his grief. He knew she'd just popped out to get the tea. I believe life ends with death, and that is all. You haven't both gone shopping. Just the same, in my new black leather phone book, there's your name and the disconnected number I still call. And now I'd like to turn to two things from my theatre work. I have always believed that some of the best poetry in history is in the best drama, and I've always been passionate about being a poet in the theatre. This is a speech. I wrote a play in a Roman amphitheatre in Austria where Marcus Aurelius and Commodus sat to watch animals being killed. People didn't believe that Commodus could be the son of Marcus Aurelius. So I wrote a part for the wife, Faustina, and Faustina was played by Sian Thomas, who is my partner, but who I've written a lot of roles in the theatre.
There are followers of yours who just can't bear to think that such a saint had such an heir. And to preserve your role as Stoic saviour, invented my lascivious behaviour. It would keep the Stoic icon undefiled if adultery had doomed me with this child. Alas, I can't collude with these deniers of your son's descent. They're frightened liars. To deify the one and demonize the other, in the end damns me, the blameless mother. Though I bore you all your children and was chaste, those who sanctify you had my fame debased. History branded me the worst of wives and whores, because no one wanted to believe that he was yours. But I, Faustina, am the only one who knows that you're his father, you, his son. Those libels and those slanders are untrue. I never slept with anyone but you. You should thank fortune you can free your reputation from paternity. Such freedoms are impossible to me. Even if her son's sheds millions' blood, a mother can't deny her motherhood. As babes, they pressed the warm milk from our pap before they pumped men's blood across the map. Whatever boundaries they've gone beyond, nothing ever breaks that early bond. I'd be relieved if history released me too from the burden of having borne this beast. Sometimes, when I imagine that I hold my Commodus again, a 1-year-old, I cradle carcasses whose eyes can't close, to whom no gentle rocking brings repose. I find my blood-flecked arms are full of hacked up bits of bear and bull, meat bundled up in bloody rags of boldly flown but now abandoned flags, and I have to add my bitter mother's cry to this abattoir's black lullaby, along with Clara and with Rosa, each a Mater Dolorosa, cradling Adolf's or Benito's, tons of others' mothers' meat that once was sons, and with Yekaterina, whose cradled darling sucked milk and then sucked blood as Joseph Stalin. Would it help the world, pretending your pure semen did not create this blood-demented demon? If it would, I'd swear the nympho whore Faustina fucked a fighting man in the arena. And if I swear my folly under oath, it puts a boundary between you both and raises up a future frontier post between the godlike and the gangster ghost. I'll let these stories go on being told to keep apart the Iron Age and gold. If I agree to let these slanders thrive, will the future learn to hope and thus survive? To free the dreamer fouled by his son's flaw, I'll swear to the future, yes, I was a whore.
Ieri lui ha letto una poesia per l'11 settembre, per esempio, no? E molto strana, perché lui quel giorno tremendo era in Grecia e stava con un nipotino, no? E stavano mangiando, godendosi i frutti della natura, perché c'è molto in lui il tema del godiamoci la vita è breve, godiamocela finché abbiamo questi doni, e la poesia è un po' una risposta al mondo del terrore, che è il terrore che spesso nasce purtroppo da una errata visione, distorta visione della religione. Il terrore è spesso collegato della politica, della religione. Allora la risposta, no, è una visione molto, molto laica, molto, no, terrestre della vita. Allora lui contrappone questa piccola scenetta familiare di lui con un nipotino da qualche parte su una spiaggia implicitamente a queste cose che arrivano da lontano, no? Come si chiama?
11th of September 2001 for Alfie in Cyprus. Turquoise, indigo, the water I teach my grandson to love, who now chews his octopus swirled in oil and oregano, an inch of tentacle, gnawn, and another, savouring the strange, oil dribbles over his belly, laughing at everything. Was at birth not even a kilo, so premature he only just made it, and whose little heart racing I saw slow down the first time out of his tent in his mother's arms, the monitor's red digits decreasing. So he needs no lessons in loving the life he scarcely scraped into. But today I made a wish that all the gifts of this morning, clear, comforting water, so joyfully splashed in, his octopus, Sprite, pomegranate and yoghurt, at a beach not that far from British Army manoeuvres and wild forest and mountains, in an island divided by bankrupt religions, both bred in the desert, is all that Alfie will ever crave of paradise.